Hey everyone, it's TV dinner time. Kick your shoes off, get comfy. Today we're talking about a new show. We're talking about The Sympathizer. It's a show that Jason and I have had on our list for
Trying to watch for a
a
long
few
time.
months. Yeah, we've been talking about it, and then The Boys came out. Boys season 4 came out. The Bear came out, and we were like, we can wait for Sympathizer. But now we're finally getting into it. Today's episode is episode where we've watched season 1, episode 1 and 2. And then we'll continue with 3 and 4 in our next episode, and then what was that 5, 6, 7 for our last episode?
Yeah, that's what I think we're planning on that because there's 7 episodes, so it's an odd number of episodes.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of glad that we actually did sit down and watch this now because it's so interesting. I think like the Vietnam War is like such an interesting
it's not talked about a lot.
Subject matter. Yeah, it's like it's not like the like anything you look back in the American history. It's never a good kind of looking back on American history, but
there's a lot of doozies as you kind of progress back in that timeline.
Yeah, but I think the Vietnam War definitely kind of like, and especially what they're going into with this subject matter, where it's like
it's a different perspective,
conspiracy and spy stuff and everything. So it's you have the subject matter of the war, and then the end of the war basically, or like the bad end of the war. But then you have this like overarching story of like this guy, he's like hiding himself.
Yeah.
And trying to like convey messages. It's so interesting. It's like I was like, I would be so stressed. Like watching the first episode of him trying to like do the messages. He had to like catch that one lady and then like how to deal with that because like she knows who he is. I would be so stressed out. I would never be able to.
I could not handle it. Like I would be like, I'm good. Like, sign me. Like don't sign me up for this. Bring somebody else into this. The funny, like, before I guess we kind of dive into it a little more, the one thing I could not get past was the fact that the main character reminded me of Dave Chappelle as the newscaster. Dave Chappelle in whiteface as the newscaster. The whole time watching, like, I could not get past that. Like, I love the main character, but that's the one thing I kept seeing. Like, man, this dude looks like Dave Chappelle.
Actually, yeah, the main character is actually does a very good job of like playing that character that he's hiding. He's like, we as an audience understand that he's hiding something,
but he plays it well.
He plays it that like, he plays, especially like the second episode.
The general's pocket, like I'm in the general's pocket, but the general is trying to find out who the snitch is. But I'm the snitch, but I can't tell him I'm the snitch, so I gotta just tiptoe around all this.
Yeah, and there's like this like always present mask that he's wearing basically to everybody other than the one dude that's probably thousands of miles away, his buddy from Northern Carolina. Like
what he's sending the codes to.
That's the only person that basically knows exactly who he is.
Yeah, because even his best friend that lives with him is kind of like, I think you're this guy, but you're really not.
Which sucks because basically, if he finds out, he's going to blame the death of his wife and his child on him, basically.
So quickly. Oh, my goodness. That was like, that scene, like the camera work in this show is insane. Like so good. The colors, the camera work. Like in second episode where it's a transition. So they're transitioning, they show just a car tire. And it shows like him in the rim, and then it transitions to that scene, and I'm like, who would even think about that?
Right?
I was like, that's so cool, but who would think about that?
Actually, talking about camera work, I definitely agree with you that the camera work is really nice. The scene that shined to me was when the general's opening that alcohol shop, and then he's making a speech in front of the people, and then the dude brings the box. And then he steps on it, but the camera is like us in the back and everything, and it raises to kind of meet the general's kind of like attention and stuff. And it was like, that was like very nice.
Yeah.
But it also was like framed very well because you have the people, you have like, you can tell it's a fairly quaint little like grocery store and stuff, or alcohol, because he's an indulger of of alcohol beverages.
Yo, so one thing too is I wonder how many awards Robert Downey Jr. is going to be nominated for this.
Can you be awarded for like each character that he
plays? He played 1 million characters in this show.
Now, okay, so I think that's where my biggest questions come from is that the first time we meet Robert Downey Jr., he's a CIA agent, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing that's like most interesting about this story is that like the United States and most other big superpowers know how to like put people into places to then be that kind of talking
on the wall.
Yeah, or like the talking voice in your ear and stuff, like to be like, oh, you probably would want to go down this route. And the United States had their reasons to do certain things within Vietnam and stuff. So the CIA is that those people that are very secretive and kind of like
whispers.
Will point a country or a person within the country to a certain direction.
Yeah.
So my question is, the first time we meet him, he's a CIA agent who also is like fairly trained in espionage. I'm assuming. Do you think he knows that the main character that we're watching is a spy?
Sympathizer or spy? Yeah.
Yeah, a sympathizer, I guess. Yeah.
I think he has to have some inklings. I don't know if he knows like for sure, but he has to have some inklings of like, okay, this guy is on our side.
But this guy is not on our side, right? Because the main character is North Vietnam.
Right.
So and then the United States wants to help the South Vietnam.
The South, yeah, I'm tripping. Okay.
Well, whether or not the United States, like the United States, is probably like whoever can do our business. I think.
Yeah, whoever can help us out.
Yeah, so it's like because like the second episode, when the drunk general is like really concerned and a falling toilet seat is like an assassination attempt. It's like in his own house, probably too. But like when he wants to figure out if there's a spy, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, the CIA agent, shows up and he's like, "It's fishy if you say there's no spy." Because the spy would be the one that says that. So I'm like, all right, how much does he know? Or is he just trying to confirm information?
Yeah, he may be trying to figure it out himself. Like, okay, I know there's a spy, but who is it?
Yeah. It's confusing and everything. Yeah. And then also
multiple characters is crazy.
Yeah, and then that scary, like I when I was watching that dude's like the other character, the professor, what is it? Professor Hammer, right?
Yeah.
Is his other character who is the main character's like professor in the United States when he went to college here. But I always like when I was watching that party and he's like, oh, I'm the professor of like ethnic studies. But also it felt like how people like convinced themselves of like, oh, I'm not racist because I actually really love this culture and everything.
Yeah. And the way he had it, like his whole like office decked out. It's like, come on, dude. You remember this bottle you gave me? It's like, come on.
It's like you can enjoy the culture, but there's that subtleties where you're like oh, trying to like argue.
Dip your toe in it. Don't go full throttle. Don't dive all the way. Come on.
But I think Robert Downey Jr. does a very good job of playing two distinct characters. Where that second character is like, you make me feel icky and everything.
Yeah. But I think there's more than just the two.
Yeah, I think when we watched the trailer, there's like a lot,
like
right?
5. Even like when I was making the thumbnail, one of the images I found, I think it was like 5 characters.
So then I'm thinking, my like brain is like, this guy, the first time we see Robert Downey Jr., he's a CIA agent, fairly trained in espionage, where we assume as like normal Americans. So could he be playing the same person, like all of them, or like in the story, are these the same?
Playing the same? Oh my god! I hope not.
My brain will explode.
I think that would blow my mind up. Like I've just watched this entire show, and you're the same person.
Yeah, you're literally the same person. Like
Oh my goodness. I almost checked. That's the thing. I almost checked IMDb so I could see the name of every character, just so that could like kind of reassure me, like, okay, these are different people.
Yeah,
But
these are different people.
we'll
But
see. We only got a couple more episodes, so we'll see.
that's true. Man, I like Sandra Oh's character.
Yeah, she was getting down
Because
too.
yeah, because I think she's the only person you see it a little bit in the main character's face when it's like, oh, you are playing this character. Like Sandra Oh's like figuring out like this is a character you play, not
this is the real you.
Yeah. So it's very interesting when it's like, oh, like I'm supposed to be playing it. Like no one's supposed to figure me out as a spy.
Like, how are you figuring?
But
out?
you are, yeah.
But if you're that intimate with somebody, they're gonna figure, like they're gonna know the real you.
No, Patty doesn't know anything about me.
Goodness. She's gonna watch his back and be like, really?
Yeah, she's like, oh, no, secrets.
I'm out of here. But
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this all plays out. Because a lot has happened in 2 episodes.
Definitely. A lot of, the 2 episodes, they're like an hour each. And so a lot of stuff has gone down in these 2 episodes. Now, do you, like, watching these 2 episodes, I guess we can probably better recommend the show once we're done with it. But, like, right now with these 2 episodes, like, who do you find that will instantly want to watch this show? And, like, if they haven't already before.
I want to say, and I say this because of who I watched the first episode with. I watched the first episode with my great aunt, who was like a war doc and war movie TV show buff. Any war, just war. She's like, oh yeah, let's watch it. She was locked in. And she's an older black woman, and she was just like, what's going on? Huh? And like in it. And I'm like, oh, this is what just happened. Oh, okay, what's the name of this show? I need to watch. So I think if you're a war buff, I think you would find enjoyment in this.
Yeah, I think so. Or spy stuff, like, because it seems it's very real. Like James Bond, like you can watch James Bond, and you're like, oh, that's cool and everything. But this is
you don't know what's happening next.
Yeah, like and you see the ending of this technically, right? We're like seeing that he's like trapped in North Vietnam, I'm assuming. And so then it's like, all right, like what happens? And like, when did this whole show like fall apart for him and everything? And so.
And I like that he's like, we're the guard. We're reading the story. He's telling us the story as it played out. That's kind of cool.
I like that too. Yeah, it was like because then it cuts to like him when he's like describes that he's sleeping with Sandra Oh's character, and you can tell he's like, "Yeah, I do."
You got it, bro.
Yeah, I really like. There's a lot of good things that come from that, and I think anything that HBO does themselves, because this is an HBO production and stuff, so it's like we've seen The Wire, we've seen
True Detective,
Detectives
HBO
and stuff.
Is A24, excuse me, for television.
Yeah, and it seems like they're willing to like put the money into making
unique stuff.
Yeah, and unique stories.
Yeah, House of Dragons, Game of Thrones. Like we can go down a whole list of like amazing shows that they put out.
I think because like when we were kids, HBO was such a like a weird, obscure thing because like you actually had to have like a separate box and everything, or like the special stuff, and it showed only adult stuff basically. Like I remember my dad used to watch like Oz in his bedroom because he was like, "You guys can't watch this. Like, this is too bad for you."
I still have not watched Oz because
I don't think I have either.
Like, no, you're too young for this. Like,
I'm still too young.
Wait, I just remember that. Like, hey, don't turn on HBO because of Oz. Like, The Wire wasn't out yet, but Oz, and then like after a certain hour,
what it turns into.
It's like, hey, HBO is not for you.
It's like almost like the true rendition of that as a child is watching Cartoon Network. And then it flips over to Adult Swim.
Yeah. Like, yo, they say curse words now. I'm not supposed to be watching this, but I'm going to turn it real low so my parents can't hear.
Yeah, I'm definitely awake at like 1 a.m.
That was definitely my Happy Days and that, like Adult Swim. Those are my guilty pleasures as a kid. Just have the TV show, like the TV real low.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm excited. I definitely will say, like, anybody that's interested in war, kind of like history or just like war stories, or just espionage and stuff, like this kind of like realistic rendition of like James Bond, and it's not like James Bond where like he's like shooting everyone all over the place and everything.
It's all fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's how it is all the time? You're dodging multiple bullets and not getting hit?
So I'm excited for the next few episodes and seeing as to where this kind of story goes, because it's like it's a roller coaster, I think, right now, even these 2 episodes. So yeah, I'm excited. Any last words?
We'll see what happens to our guy. We'll see how many characters Robert Downey Jr. actually plays in the show.
I know, right? Like so many, I think. And if whether or not he's the same person. Yes. But yeah, we'll get to it. We'll watch the next 2 episodes, and we'll do another episode of TV Dinner. And let us know if you've seen the first 2 episodes of The Sympathizer on HBO. We watched it on HBO Max or Max. But yeah, let us know if you liked it, disliked it, and please like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more TV dinners like these.